guess overall, how are your emotions going into this offseason different from past off seasons? Does it feel a little bit different, as far as what could happen with you or just the team as a whole?
Yeah, it does feel a little bit different. I think the only other time was probably like the free agency year, but even then I kind of felt that I was going to come back here more than anything. And now it's still just like at the trade deadline, just don't really know. And just a lot of uncertainty about what direction and a lot of things that can change the direction of what the Grizzlies want to do and my future. Lottery balls and the way the season just ended yesterday with us winning, Dallas losing. I know that shook up some things, and now we different opportunities. So we just kind of have to see what happens.
And that's the thing. It seems like this team has been able to put together spurts of good play, over the last third of the season, post-trade deadline. In your mind, do you see that? Do you think that that's something that can be built on? Do you think there's more work that needs to be done? What's your view on that overall?
I think the way that we ended the season was great. I think the way that we were playing post All-Star break is a way that I think it can be successful. I think a lot of people were able to thrive in that kind of environment, the culture that we had kind of built. The young guys, DeLon was unbelievable. JV coming in, doing what he did. Javon starting to find his niche. I mean, a lot of the guys really had a great experience from having that opportunity, and that's only going to bode well for the future, I think.
Mike, was there a sense of finality for you yesterday, or did you look at it in that way, just maybe savoring the moments last night?
I didn't try to look at it like that. I did that once earlier this year already, and felt like it was a going away game, and nothing happened. So I just tried to stay as normal as possible, and just be a coach on the sideline and help the team as much as possible.
What do you want out of the rest of your career?
I want to win a ring, man. Ultimately, I think that's everybody's goal, especially when you get older. Now that I've hit that, like I said, at age where people tell me I should be slowing down. I don't feel like I'm slowing down at all. I feel like I'm doing a lot better, actually. But it is also a time where, it's be 13 years, 14 years, 15 years. Those years start to stack up, and you don't get too many opportunities at winning at that level. Let alone, I try to even just put on a small level. I tell guys how hard it is to make the playoffs, how hard it is to be in there every year, because that's an accomplishment in itself. So you never know you're going to get back to that point. And I want to know what it's like also to get to, the top at some point. And like I said, if that's here or anywhere, I'm all for it. So
Is the All-Star thing still? I mean, it would mean something to you?
Being an All-Star would mean something, but it's not at the front of my goals. I think my play the second half of the year is something that I'm excited about, and I think that allows for myself and the team to be successful. And I think with success, you get those accolades, you get those honors. So we'll just see.
Will you, if there are further trade negotiations, you don't know if there will be or not, how will you be a part of that? Will you be able to weigh in, do you think? Do you expect to be able to weigh in?
Yeah, I think there will be an open line of communication with that. I think that they understand where I'm coming from, just how I understand their situation as well. So we want what's best for both parties. I want what's best for the Grizzlies. I want what's best for myself. They're the same way. They want what's best for the Grizzlies, but they also want to do right by anything that can help me either way. If it's best to be here for me or anywhere else, they're going to do the best of their ability to keep me involved in that kind of stuff.
If they end up, obviously at the trade deadline they decided Mike's too valuable, we didn't get enough for him. If that same thing happens, will you be disappointed to be back here in the fall?
No, man, I'm never disappointed to be back here. That's not even
Not here, not because it's here, but because unlikely you're going to win a ring here next year anyway.
Right. No, I think that the opportunity to win a ring, obviously, yeah, that'd be like, oh man, I missed that opportunity, you know. But after that, like I said, being here is home. Being here is all I know, and I love the guys here. I love the people that have been around here. So, you know,
Mike,
yes.
what would a successful offseason look like for the Grizzlies in your eyes? Like, what would be a success?
Well, it's hard to say right now because there's so many, like I said earlier, there's so many things that are not known. You know, whether, I don't know how it works with the conveying and having a pick or not having a pick, or I don't know what's going on. And, you know, so obviously if there's a pick involved, then how are we going to utilize that pick to the best of our ability to, whether we draft somebody or you making trades, or how does that affect me? And, you know, so a lot of it is just purely, you know, up in the air. I really don't know.
Is it your is it your sense that it's hard for that two-way conversation about your future to be had in full until the draft lottery and they know what's happening with the pick?
Yeah, I think that makes it a little bit more clear once we know exactly what picks are involved and what we have, what we don't have as an organization, and you can kind of have a better sense of, you know, especially for me, like what's going to be out there for me and what my situation might, you know, unfold to.
Mike, is it hard, I mean, not being able to play last night, knowing that your future is not necessarily certain with this franchise right now? Is it tough knowing that you didn't really maybe get to say goodbye maybe the way you wanted to?
Yeah, it is tough. You know, I kind of think about it a little bit, but like I said, I try not to worry myself too much on this being my last game or anything like that. But if that was the case, ultimately I think the last home game I played was the Golden State, the previous one, and to have experienced a night like that, you know, was unbelievable. So if I have a memory that lasts, you know, that hopefully that'll be that, if that was the case.
How
Mike,
was
was it playing with JV and just getting to know him?
Oh, JV's a blast, man. He's, you know, everything you see is who he is. You know, he's a funny guy. He works hard. No nonsense. Just does his job. Unselfish. I mean, there's been times he just comes and apologizes to me in the huddle for no reason. He's like, I got to set a better screen. I'm like, you just set a good screen. I don't know what you're talking about, but he's just always thinking about how he can get guys open and other things like that. You look up, he is 30 and 20 in the process, which is admirable to know, you know, guys like that exist.
Is he cut out to be a Grizzly?
Yeah, he's about as grizzly as they come, man. He's just physically imposing. Like I said, he's blue collar, works hard, everything the city embodies. And I know if he's back, man, the city's gonna love him.
Mike, I remember when Lionel was here, he once said that chemistry has to be rebuilt every fall. I was wondering if that's your experience, and two, we saw so much chemistry out of this roster, even with guys injured. Do you see that as a way that can carry forward next season? Because it seemed like key to part of your success that guys were playing well individually, but playing well together.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it is assuming that everybody's back. You know, like you got the same cast of characters back. You can have that kind of same flow that you had at the end of the season and have it carry over. But I think a lot of it has been, you know, the guys we've brought in the last year or so, just the high character kind of guys we've got, have allowed for, you know, a situation like where we've had 7-8 guys out, and the guys who play are still playing well together because you just got a good vibe of, you know, good chemistry, regardless of who's out there. So, you know, I can see it carrying over, like I said, depending on who's here.
You look like Mike, who would, if you get everybody coming back, yourself included, what would be it may not be ring worthy, but what would be a ceiling for this team if you got everybody back in their health
For the whole season.
For the whole season, man. Ceiling, I don't like to put ceilings on anything, but I think that this team could compete playoffs as far as whether it's 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, you could be anywhere in that range in the West. Things change like that, you know, and really, honestly, a lot of it is dependent on this summer. You got guys who are free agents and other teams that they leave, it could shift the whole deal. So there's a lot of movement that's going to happen. Like, so that's why I can't really put a ceiling on how good if we all came back. And I think it's all based on a perfect world too. Because unfortunately for the Grizzlies, we haven't had that season where everybody's just healthy and and we've got our 5 guys out there, just starters playing, and our 5 guys come out. So a lot of things happen in the season. So I think that the team could be good and competitive, but still have a lot of room to, long way to go as far as trying to compete for that title.
You said to the fans when you were at the microphone, you said, "See you next year." Did it feel a little odd?
I was trying to use my words carefully. I might have, it felt normal at the time, and then after I said it, I was like, oh man, I bet they don't know what to think right now. But like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. So
You'll see him one way or another. You'll play here either way.
I'm definitely going to be playing.
You'll be seeing.
That's my plan. So regardless.
Do you think it'll be hard to watch Mark in the playoffs and going after a title this year?
Not hard to watch him. I think it'll be.
Will you be jealous?
Definitely jealous. I can't hold that back. I think that I tell him all the time. I'm like, oh, you're just so lucky, man, to be able to be competing. You might go to the finals. You might win a championship. He's like, yeah, you got to come out to the playoffs for a game. Yeah, he said the finals. He said the finals. I said I'll come to a game when y'all go to the finals. So I'm holding to that.
What about taking to the finals next year?
Ooh. Us?
Yeah.
Why not? Think we can do it?
Make a deal?
Let's go there.
Yeah,
Let's go.
You gonna do this to me? Hey, get him out of here.
Mike, a lot's been over the years, of course, with your previous squad. A lot has been made of the work ethic of the team. To come in, do your work, work hard. Didn't seem sometimes you guys were having as much fun. It started to seem like you personally and the rest of the team were having fun after the trade. Am I reading that right? Or, not that working can't be fun, but it can be more fun than maybe in other situations.
Working can be hard, It's hard on you. It's hard on your body and mind. And when things don't go your way as far as wins and losses are concerned, it can be taxing, I think. And I think we hit that point at some point this year where we're just doing as much as we can to be physical and be that defensive-minded, just juggernaut like we've always been. And for whatever reason, the way the rules are today, and it just all caught up to us at the same time. And after, the All-Star break, we shifted to that, more modern, open spacing, and things were just, free-flowing. That I think it was like a release of all the stress and tension we had built up, because everything became so easy and fluid for us. And we weren't stressing so hard to score, and things were just, opportunities were coming a little more easier for everybody, and made it a fun game.
You missed games at the end. Would you have played in playoff games? Could you have played, or was it a?
I think I definitely would have tried to obviously do everything in my power to play the playoff game. I think at this point of our season, it was, it got to the point where after I rolled my ankle, and it was like, I've been sitting not doing anything for 4 or 5 days, and then, we got 2 games left. Is it worth me trying to push through? And I haven't been able to really run on it for a week for the final 2 games of the season that, we all know we're not going to playoff stuff. So.
Mike, he forgot you played with a broken face. You should
Yeah,
have defended it.
come on. I can play with some pain. But just depending on, what's at stake, I guess.
DeLon showed what he can do in, one set of circumstances with the triple doubles. What does he need to get better at if he's going to be leading a team over a whole season?
As far as his game is concerned, he's pretty solid in most aspects of it. I think he obviously is going to be working on his shot. Being a knockdown shooter will open up the floor even more for a guy like him. But I think for him to continue to grow and make steps, it's got to be the vocal side of it, the take charge as a point guard side of it, because he does all the things just naturally. Doesn't talk very loud or speak very loud. He's very reserved, quiet.
A young Mike Conley?
He's me. He's young me, man. And trying to get him to be a little bit more vocal and really lead guys. And I think once he takes over that part of the game, he can be really, really good.
Mike, for 10 years or more, you've been all about this city and this franchise. Does this summer have to be about you? You have to take the rest of it out, and it can't be about the Grizzlies. It can't be about your fondness for this city. Does it have to be about you this summer?
Yeah, I think this is the one time, actually, I've had opportunities before, but I still was, free agent year. I don't count as that. I feel like I was coming back here regardless with the situation that was presented this year with me being on the block and the state of our franchise and what direction we want to go. All that in question has got to be, my first thing is what's going to be best for myself, whether that's being here or being somewhere else. I have to entertain that. I have to be thinking that way because ever since February I've been forced to think that way.
But what is that thing? What is the most important thing to you as you sit here right now? And obviously your career is it's going to come to a close in the next few. So is it a championship? Is it just an opportunity to play for a championship? What is it?
It's definitely not the rebuild. I want to win a championship, number one. If it's not that, I want to be able to compete at that level. Whether, I'm not saying you're a title favorite right away, but you are a team that's capable of getting there, within the next 2 years or further on. Well, I don't know how long I'll play, but within the next 2 years for sure. But
Can't be around for a rebound.
Yeah, I just, I love the guys. I love JJ and all these guys, but I've done a lot of that. I've been a part of it, and sometimes you have to pass it on, pass that torch, and that's what kind of like we come down to at this stage. That if we do go that direction, or we're forced to go that direction, then we've got a guy in JJ, we've got guys in Dylan, Kyle, these guys who are ready to take up that opportunity and build towards that future.
What's similar to the Delon question a minute ago? For Jaren Jackson Jr., who knows if you'll be around next year to give advice or not, what does he need to work on this summer to grow his game? Like, what's the top of his to-do list, do you think?
I think for him, working out of the post, like mid-post, being able to jab and shoot off the glass, all those things, basically like Kevin Garnett would do. We know how athletic JJ is and his ability to get to the rim and finish left-handed, and he can hit a three and pick and pop. But I think his ability to really catch the ball in the post, demand double teams by facing up and having an array of moves in that aspect can be huge for him. Because he scored so much just in the catching it in the paint, the dunker spot, being able to just finish. And we know we can do that, so I think that would be a big area for him.
Mike, for the first time that I can think of in your career, I mean, we're in a window where it seems like this is, poised to be your team. I mean, you've been, whatever option, in previous iterations of the team, but to be able to kind of be Mike Conley in the Memphis Grizzlies compared to, some of the others, is any of that kind of enticing to you relative to a situation where maybe you land on another team and, yeah, you're part of a championship contender, but it's not your chance to kind of flex and say, this is my squad, let me lead it.
Right. No, I've been thankful to even have had the opportunity to feel that, what I've got to feel this year. What the Grizzlies and coach were able to allow me to do was unbelievable. I mean, it was a great feeling to be able to have that kind of freedom and the support behind it. At the same time, it's like, it's like it's come so late, Some other guys might have got that their third year in the league or whatever it may be, or fifth year. But for me, it seems like going in 12th and going into the 13th season to finally feel what that's like, know how much work you got to do to be able to sustain it. It's like, dang, man, I just wish I had this earlier. I just wish I had this opportunity to really maximize and see what was all possible for me. But at the same time, I can play as a one guy or two guy or three guy, and I'm happy if we're winning and competing at a high level and having an opportunity to win championships. That's just what I've always kind of been, that kind of a player, and I think that's why it was so easy for me to play with the teams we had. We went to playoffs 7 straight years because there was no ego. Great guys got together and played a style that we loved to play, and we found a way around it. And I wasn't trying to be the man or take anything away from Zebo or Mark or Tony. And I think that's just what kind of makes me different than a lot of different guys. Like, I don't need to be number one to prove anything. I know how good I am and what I can do for a team.
Everybody good? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.